On March 19, 1563, the Edict of Amboise was signed at the Château of Amboise by Catherine de' Medici, acting as regent for her son, King Charles IX of France. This edict concluded the first phase of the French Wars of Religion by granting the Huguenots, French Protestants, limited religious freedoms and privileges. Despite aiming to establish peace, the edict was gradually undermined by ongoing regional religious violence, leading to the resumption of hostilities in 1567. On March 19, 1649, during the English interregnum, following the execution of King Charles I, the Rump Parliament passed an act abolishing the House of Lords. The act declared the House of Lords useless and dangerous to the people of England, effectively dissolving the upper chamber of Parliament. This move was part of broader efforts to establish the Commonwealth of England, a republican form of government. The House of Lords was later reinstated during the Restoration in 1660. On March 19, 1808, King Charles IV of Spain abdicated the throne following riots and a popular revolt at the royal palace of Aranjuez. This uprising, known as the Mutiny of Aranjuez, was driven by widespread discontent with the king's policies and the influence of his prime minister, Manuel Godoy. Charles IV's abdication led to his son, Ferdinand VII, ascending to the Spanish throne. In March 1824, American explorer Benjamin Morrell concluded his Antarctic expedition and departed the region. His voyage was later marred by allegations of fraudulent claims regarding his discoveries and observations, casting doubt on the credibility of his accounts. On March 19, 1831, the Citibank of New York, now known as Citibank, experienced the first documented bank robbery in U.S. history. Burglars stole $245,000, a substantial sum at the time, from the bank's vault on Wall Street. Fortunately, most of the stolen money was subsequently recovered. On March 19, 1865, the Battle of Bentonville commenced in North Carolina during the American Civil War. Over the course of 3 days, Union forces under Major General William T. Sherman engaged Confederate troops led by General Joseph E. Johnston. The battle concluded with the retreat of Confederate forces from Four Oaks, marking one of the last major engagements of the war. On March 19, 1918, the United States Congress passed the Standard Time Act, which established official time zones across the country and approved the implementation of daylight saving time. This legislation aimed to standardize timekeeping practices and conserve energy during World War I. On March 19, 1920, the United States Senate rejected the Treaty of Versailles for the second time, having previously done so on November 19, 1919. The treaty, which officially ended World War I and established the League of Nations, faced opposition in the Senate over concerns about entangling alliances and national sovereignty. On March 19, 1921, during the Irish War of Independence, approximately 100 Irish Republican Army IRA volunteers successfully evaded an attempt by over 1,300 British forces to encircle them at Crossbarry, County Cork. This engagement, known as the Battle of Crossbarry, was one of the largest battles of the war and showcased the effectiveness of guerrilla tactics employed by the IRA. On March 19, 1931, Nevada Governor Fred B. Balzer signed into law a bill legalizing gambling in the state. This legislation aimed to boost the state's economy during the Great Depression and laid the foundation for Nevada's future as a major gambling and entertainment destination. On March 19, 1943, Frank Nitti, who had become the boss of the Chicago outfit following Al Capone's imprisonment, committed suicide at the Chicago Central Rail Yard. Facing increased law enforcement pressure and the prospect of a lengthy prison sentence, Nitti chose to end his life. On March 19, 1944, during World War II, German forces occupied Hungary to prevent its government from negotiating a separate peace with the Allies. On March 19, 1945, a Japanese dive bomber attacked the USS Franklin off the coast of Japan, causing severe damage and killing 724 crew members. Remarkably, the aircraft carrier returned to the U.S. under its own power. On March 19, 1945, Adolf Hitler issued the Nero Decree, ordering the destruction of Germany's infrastructure to impede Allied forces, though it was largely ignored by his subordinates. On March 19, 1946, French Guiana, Guadeloupe, Martinique, and Réunion were officially designated as overseas departments of France, integrating them more closely into the French state. On March 19, 1964, over 500,000 Brazilians participated in the March of the Family with God for Liberty in São Paulo, protesting against President João Goulart's government and perceived communist influences. On March 19, 1965, teenage diver and underwater archaeologist E. Lee Spence discovered the wreck of the SS Georgiana, a Confederate cruiser sunk exactly 102 years earlier during the American Civil War. On March 19, 1982, Argentine forces landed on South Georgia Island, escalating tensions that led to the Falklands War with the United Kingdom. On March 19, 1989, the Egyptian flag was raised at Taba, marking the end of Israeli occupation since the Six-Day War in 1967 and the implementation of the Egypt-Israel Peace Treaty of 1979. On March 19, 2003, U.S. President George W. Bush addressed the nation, announcing the commencement of military operations in Iraq, marking the beginning of the Iraq War. On March 19, 2008, astronomers observed GRB 080319b, a cosmic gamma-ray burst that became the farthest known object visible to the naked eye, briefly illuminating the universe from a distance of 7.5 billion light-years. On March 19, 2011, following the failure of Muammar Gaddafi's forces to capture Benghazi, the French Air Force launched Opération Harmattan, initiating foreign military intervention in the Libyan civil war. On March 19, 2023, the Swiss government brokered a deal for UBS to acquire rival Credit Suisse in an effort to stabilize the financial sector during the 2023 banking crisis.